Happy Thursday, my darling pop culture junkies. It's another week of all of our favorite pop culture things happening across the internets and beyond. And so I'm here to break it down for you. It's Pop Culture Mondays on Thursdays, and it's me, Brooke.
On Thursdays.
Hello, my darlings. Well, it's a very monumental week here in Pop Culture Mondays world. Pop Culture Mondays on Thursdays. I'm not sure this was something I really thought out or planned, but the iconic Baby Yoda. Our Baby Yoda icon, the one that has been with us since the very beginning of Pop Culture Mondays, 2019, due to the overwhelming amount of questions I got about Baby Yoda, which was in a new show called The Mandalorian on a new platform called Disney Plus that had not been in existence. You have to remember, this all happened around the same time. Disney Plus launched using its very big show, The Mandalorian, with an as of then unknown Pedro Pascal. We did not know him. I mean, he was known among some people, but he was not world famous. And we didn't know him for a while because he was behind the mask and Grogu. But many people did not have Disney Plus, and many people did not live in a world online like I do, and they did not know what all of this conversation around Baby Yoda was, which was the term that people sort of just gave to this Grogu character. Grogu is neither a baby nor is he Baby Yoda's relative that we know of, or Yoda's relative. So, but Baby Yoda became a meme, a thing. Every kid was talking about it. Parents were confused, like, why are my children talking about Yoda, let alone Baby Yoda? It was just a moment in time, and that was what led me to ultimately write the newsletter. It was basically me texting the same freaking thing to everybody, like it's da 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 da, then copying and pasting it and just sending it out because I got tired of sending the same text. My thumbs got tired. To then sending a note to like 12 of my female friends. Stephanie Rule, the first one who responded, yes, please, when I asked, do you guys want me to just send out like a weekly email summarizing the things? And Stephanie Rule, who had young kids at that point, again, this was 2019, 7 years ago, she's like, yes, please. And others followed. And so that's what led me initially to do it in an email, like a stupid Outlook email with links, where I would just write little, like 2 or 3 sentences, which maybe some think I should go back to. I write a lot. I think my newsletter has gotten quite long, to then turning it into a Medium post, because Medium at the time was like really the easy way for me to publish online. And this was before TikTok. Musical.ly was in existence, but like whatever. I was basically mainly Twitter and YouTube. That's what I was, mainly Twitter and YouTube. Instagram, you couldn't even share Instagrams at that point, so I had to like screen grab them, and TikTok was not a thing. And Baby Yoda, there was such a plethora of content of Baby Yoda on Google Images. Like you could literally, each week would be a topic. Like this week I talked about a sweater, which is also why I'm wearing the sweater, and we'll talk about it. But if I talked about like the sweater from the movie Project Hail Mary, and I put in like big cable knit sweater, Baby Yoda, I guarantee you there are images of Baby Yoda sweaters, maybe even big cozy sweaters. Like everything has a Baby Yoda component. I could be talking about football, and there'd be like a football with Baby Yoda, or an image of Baby Yoda throwing a football. So there was a plethora of content. This is before AI. This is before we had AI at our fingertips. So Baby Yoda has just become the official, or I guess unofficial or really official mascot of Pop Culture Mondays. I have so much Baby Yoda swag. Like I have Baby Yoda garden gnomes that people have given me. I have Baby Yoda stickers. I have hats, sweatshirts, t-shirts, you name it, I have it. And then it was this weekend when I went to see Project Hail Mary, which I can't wait to talk about. And I know I'm behind on this. I know. But they had the trailer for the new Mandalorian and Grogu movie. And that's very exciting. And it felt very full circle in that moment. And I was with my friend Brian and I was like, there's Baby Yoda. And he was like so earnest. He's like, it's not Baby Yoda, it's Grogu. And I was like, I know, Brian. I know what it is. And it reminded me of the genesis of how we got here. And I thought maybe this is a good time to retire Baby Yoda as our mascot and move into something more modern and something that I could actually use AI images in a fun way, very, very clearly that it's AI, but use AI to create images that are solely just for us. And I've been doing the AI stuff with Baby Yoda, and it's a little tricky because you're breaking like the IP stuff and not every platform will let you do it. But I think there's like more creative ways. And then I'm thinking, what could be the next Baby Yoda? What's the next mascot? And it's sitting literally at my feet right now, but right in front of me is Potato the French Bulldog. The French Bulldog. Because who looks a lot like Yoda? Like, I bet George Lucas put a little bit of a French Bulldog into Baby Yoda. So it's a nice little segue. Potato is really my icon and my mascot. So I feel like the French Bulldog sort of evolution from Baby Yoda makes a lot of sense. So this is where we are at. It is a big day. We are starting, it's going to be April 2026. This is my birth month. I am really getting over there in years, guys. It's crazy. And so it's a new dawn. It's a new day, as they say. And it'll be a lot of fun to put, basically, I just wanted an excuse to make AI photos of Potato. So this week, I made AI photos of Potato, in particular wearing the very viral now fox sweater that Ryan Gosling, who is playing a character named Ryland Grace, in the movie Project Hail Mary, which I know many of you listening to or watching this have seen. But I also know a lot of you haven't, because I know a lot of you are busy and are not getting to a movie theater. And listen to me. I was right about Sinners. Was I not? I was right. I was right about Sinners. I am right about this movie. Go see this movie in a theater. If you can see it in IMAX, see it. Don't wait to watch it on an airplane. Don't wait to watch it on your iPad. This deserves a theatrical experience. We deserve the theatrical experience. I don't know if I've loved a movie more, and I love Sinners, don't get me wrong, but this is different. This is like a blockbuster. This was like, I know this sounds crazy. I'm going to say it's E.T. meets Harold and Maude. Listen, that's my truth, and and if you haven't seen Harold and Maude, God bless you, go and watch Harold and Maude. And you'll understand, if you have seen Harold and Maude and you have seen this movie, what I'm talking about, the relationship. So before I get any further, let me just give you a little genesis, because I don't want to, there may be some spoilers, but I'm not going to spoil this movie. Anything that I'm saying you've seen in the trailer. So it's a movie that is about the end of the world, and it's the same guy who wrote the book. Andy Weir wrote the book, is the same author of The Martian, which was another one of our favorite space movies with Matt Damon. It has humor as well as like solitude, the feeling of being like on your own in space. Like, what do you do? Andy Weir obviously loves diving into this very topic. It's a really phenomenal story. I have not read the book, but this is one of those few times that I'm actually going to go back and read it, because there's like a whole bunch of stuff that can't make its way into the movie that's very science-based in the film, that in the book, that I want to check out. But the premise is simple. The world is going to end, basically. They have discovered that there is a thing that's happening that's basically killing the sun. And obviously, as the sun goes darker, then mass bad things happen around the world. The earth gets colder, food supplies, people die, billions of people die. And Ryan Gosling, aka Ryland Grace, is a very hot, adorable, science teacher to elementary school kids. And he's got a really great rapport with them. He's very connected, but you can see he's very smart. And he's basically approached by members of the government, we assume, because he'd written this long lost paper on something. Anyway, he, along with a bajillion other scientists around the world, are trying to figure out what this thing is and how to stop it, how to stop killing the sun. And inevitably, they determine that it needs to have people go to space. They need to go on a spaceship. And the story then goes to space. And without giving more away, Ryan Gosling ends up in space alone on this big old spaceship, basically on his shoulders to save the world. And in that situation, he meets another individual in space trying to save their world, not the same worlds. So yes, there is an alien. We know this from the trailer. Alien name is Rocky, and it becomes the story of their relationship. And that is where I'm going to end it on the summarizing the movie. But I can tell you, I cried in this movie for like a good, it's probably 2.5 hours for an hour and a half of it. I cried. I'm hormonal and I'm going through, all of that stuff as a girl. But listen to me, there were plenty of Gen Z people sobbing away. So it's one of those tearjerker movies, but really like, it's not a devastating movie. It tugs at your heartstrings. It's also the story about friendship and loneliness, but companionship and true love, true loyalty to one another. I cannot get into it enough. But two things stood out. Well, lots of things stood out. One of the things that stood out with Ryan Gosling throughout the whole movie, I mean, on Earth and in space were his outfits. And he had a lot of really amazing knit sweaters, but nothing more viral has happened in this movie than this sweater he is wearing, which is a knit sweater. It's so perfect. It zips up, it's got a collar, and it's got foxes on it. And he wears a sweater in like 80% of the movie. And it's just like the perfect sort of like, the dude would look really good in the sweater, right? Like the dude. But this is just the perfect sweater. And it's iconic. The sweater has gone viral, and we're going to talk about it. But for those of you watching, in honor of the Ryan Gosling fox sweater, am wearing my own sweater, which is not zip up, but it's big and it's heavy and it's really cozy. And I'm going to stand up for a second because you need to see the back. It's key and it's perfect for today. Okay? I mean, she's not blonde, I know, but she's a French Bulldog. The whole back is a French Bulldog. You have to check it out. If you're not watching, you need to watch it. It's the perfect sweater. And it turns out that these sweaters, particularly with animals on it, are sort of all the rage amongst like the hot boys. So there's there's Tom Holland is wearing one, and our Henry, oh my God, I'm losing my brains. Harry Styles is wearing one, and now Ryan Gosling. I mean, this is becoming a thing. Andrew Garfield is in one. I'm really into it. I'm really, really, really into this vibe. The big oversized sweater with animal prints on it for the most part. So I obviously leave the movie and immediately go to try to buy the sweater. And I'd seen an article that the sweater had gone viral and was sold out. And so I was like, okay. But I found it. And this is what happens. You remember when you took exams? Did you guys ever have a teacher that did this? Where you would be given an exam and two people in the class would be like pencils down within 30 seconds of getting it. And you're like, what the fuck? And then you spend the whole class. But if you had read the directions said, do not take this test, put your pencils down. Did anyone else have that? Because I had it. And it was the most shocking lesson. And you would think that it stuck with me all these years, that this wouldn't have happened to me just now, but it did. Anyway, the point is, everybody in the class failed the test except for those two people who'd actually read the directions. So my self did not, my raging, needing to have this OCD, must have this sweater, like nothing can stop me. I did not read the articles, fine print. I got the link to the place. It's this little craft store. Okay, Brooke, first giveaway, a craft store. So it's a craft store in Canada that sells the sweater. The sweater is sold out, but you can sign up for the pre-order, pay, and be guaranteed to get it when it's available in the next few weeks. Next big hint was that it gave you variations in size by different inches as opposed to small, medium, or large. I just guessed and I picked one. And then third hint was its price, because like it was $89. And then I thought to myself, well, the Canadians, they're just such good people that they are not going to go into inflation because of the popularity of the sweater. They're just staying tried and true. Sweater has, put them on the map, and they're staying tried or true, and they're just going to sell this sweater no matter what for $89. So I signed up, and with tax, everything, it was like $104. I got my email, your shipment's on its way. I was so excited. I go brush my teeth, wash my face, come back. I look at it again, and I realize that it's the kit, the sweater kit. It's a knitting and craft store. And what this place is it has the kit, the whole, like they own the sort of layout, the way that you make that sweater. It's theirs. And then you purchase the kit, and then you theoretically have to knit the sweater yourself. And I am, like I said in the newsletter, way more likely to learn Mandarin in like 2 weeks than I am to learn how to knit anytime in my life. So that became a big fat no. I had to send the most embarrassing email and be like, I am so sorry. I really didn't read that carefully, and could I return this?
While I'm on the topic of Project Hail Mary, I should say that I did struggle at times to focus on the plot because I was so consumed with envy over this sweater that Ryan Gosling is wearing for like half the movie. This beautiful cream fox pattern wool knit zip up cardigan. You can just tell it's high quality. Look at that craftsmanship. So naturally I left the theater and I had to find out where it's from immediately. So I turned to Reddit, obviously, and people had tracked this down months and months ago when the trailer came out. I thought it would be like that sheep sweater that Princess Diana wore, where you can still buy it, but it's $300. But it's actually worse, because it's a vintage knit pattern from Mary Maxim. So you can buy the pattern and the wool for $80, but who's gonna knit the sweater? Because it's certainly not gonna be me. And it doesn't come with a zipper, by the way. Maybe I will learn to knit, just so I can knit this. And it does make me wonder if Ryan Gosling's character is supposed to have knit this himself, which I do feel like would be in character.
Alas, I will not have the sweater, but there are a lot of people making the sweater, including Tom Daley, the Olympic diver. He is a big old knitter. And so he knitted a similar sweater. It's not the same. It's not as complex. There's no zipper. I am waiting for somebody to get that sweater made and like on eBay, or some brand makes it, because I want the zipper. I want the whole like popped collar vibe. But Tom Daley gave it to Ryan Gosling, and it says Rocky and like Grace. It's so cute on the back. And it's a very feel-good moment when you see the people really talking about the sweater.
Ryan Gosling, you are officially on my naughty list. Astronaughty, that is.
And I made him a little something.
So I've been given a mission. I heard about what happened on Project Hail Mary, a man sent to save planet Earth and the stars, and somehow no home comforts made it on board. So I've been working on a little something. Think of it as a post-mission essential. Something for after Grace saves the stars. Warm, comfortable, and a bit more like home. And look how cozy it is. Oh, nice and soft. And then I started making the collar, because the little folded collar detail is actually really cute. And then I made this little grid for the motif of the fox. You know, they kind of look like they're diving down, and then it took me ages to do this duplicate stitch thing. And on the back, you know, I love surface crochet, and it's always nice to have a little memento of the people that you meet in space. And then it was time to block it, so I gave this cardigan a little bath, then it was out in the sun to dry it. Thanks for saving it, by the way. And look at that, it's all done, and you can catch Project Hail Mary in movie theaters now, so go check it out, you don't want to miss it.
And there are other viral things. If you hear people saying amaze, 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 which, by the way, I feel like that was stolen from my friend group, because we always say amaze, 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 amaze. Rocky says amaze, amaze, amaze. That has become an iconic line that the kids are using. So let's be clear. And then if you've seen reviews, if you've seen just in a glimpse, if any, or if your kids are like, you know, saw the movie and they give you a thumbs down, that actually means thumbs up, because we're living in the upside down. But thumbs up, thumbs down means thumbs up, because Rocky basically couldn't figure out thumbs up. So whenever he gave a thumbs up, he gave thumbs down. Does that make sense? I hope it does. Because now when I first saw the TikToks before I saw the movie, just like, why are so many people not like the movie? I don't understand. Like, everyone I talk to is raving about it. But it turns out thumbs down means thumbs up.
Slowly walking down the hall, faster than a cannonball, where we...
So we've cleared that up. This movie is beautiful. It's a blockbuster, but it's so beautifully filmed. It's unbelievable in its use of visual effects. The score, the music, the cast, everything is glorious. But the goofiness of Ryan Gosling makes it really just, it's relatable. It's a messy space. Like, he's a mess. He's just sort of a hot mess in space in many ways, but also just like the way maybe we would be, though he's a brilliant scientist. And then Rocky is a really interesting character. They could have totally used CGI, and like other movies that use CGI, but this is totally, it's a puppet. It's an actual puppet. And in everything I've read, it allows for Ryan Gosling and Rocky to sort of have a real rapport. They're really playing off of one another. And the puppeteer is actually the voice of Rocky. So there are two individuals. It just sort of shows that, like, AI and CGI and all this stuff is not the answer. When you have these two characters playing off of one another, it makes a very, very compelling dynamic. The chemistry is remarkable. So I know I'm spending a lot of time talking about a movie, but there were lots of viral moments. It also led to me really changing mascots from Baby Yoda after 7 years to our Frenchies. So I wanted to just bring that to everyone's attention. Before we get into other pop culture stuff, go see this movie. But I did use this iconic AI image of Potato in the sweater, which was very important to do. Another iconic image of Potato that I made with AI was this one of him being clearly the Kit Kat thief. Because by now, I'm hoping all of you have heard of the 12-ton robbery. It's like 435,000 Kit Kat bars were stolen from a truck after leaving a factory or whatever in Italy on its way to be distributed throughout Europe before its ending place was Poland. They were stolen. 12 tons. 435,000 Kit Kat bars. Gone. Vanished. And it has become a sensational story. And this is when, like, we talk about brands having fun. Brands are having fun. So different fast food chains have gotten involved and they're posting. It's hard for me to, like, talk through them, but different Instagrams, like Ryanair did one. And let's see. Kit Kat's official statement is so good that you can't not make it a meme. They said, we can confirm that 12 tons of Kit Kat products were stolen while in transit between the factory in central Italy and their destination in Poland. We are working closely with local authorities and supply chain partners to investigate. The good news is there are no concerns for consumer safety. Domino's Pizza UK did an official statement. We would like to share our thoughts and condolences with Kit Kat following their recent sad news. On a completely unrelated note, we're pleased to announce we'll now be selling a new Kit Kat pizza. Ryanair showed that they were like, the plane was eating Kit Kats, like all these different brands. I'm just going to show a few others in the podcast on the screen that you can see of how they reacted to the Kit Kat story, the heist, and how they themselves are hinting at perhaps they were responsible. They were the brand behind the stolen Kit Kats. But the memes, mainly on Twitter, this is where Twitter is really good, and the memes are great. I loved this one with Heath Ledger from Batman, obviously, and he's playing the Joker, and it's a picture of him in front of the fires that he's lit. It says, "It's not about the chocolate. It's about sending a message. Nobody gets a break." Get it? Break like a Kit Kat bar? Okay. Yeah, then there's the guys from Breaking Bad just staring at all their loot when they're staring at all their money, but instead it's all the Kit Kat bars. And then there's, of course, one of Potato really responsible for it. But there's so many memes. The Kit Kat bar scenario is just one that is fun and light, and brands can have fun with it. People really connect with it. Twitter is great for that. It's like, take all political discourse and all the vile stuff off of Twitter and leave it to just this stuff, because God bless. And moving quickly through, I do have bad news. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for all of those people who said, if this isn't real, I'm going to be really mad. Alas, it wasn't real. Now, let me be clear. The video was real. And that is of the video that we all saw last week of like the 8 dogs that had apparently broken free from a truck in China and were running away to freedom and being led by a very bossy corgi. But it was like 8 different breeds. Like, you had a golden retriever, and you had some small dogs, and you had a German shepherd, and the corgi was leading the way, and they were running along a highway. And we all were very quick to believe the narrative that we were fed. And I think because people had established it was a real video, that it wasn't AI, that then we just had to believe the narrative that came along with it. But alas, it was not true. The video is true. So that's cute. They are friends. They love each other. They were horned up because what they were dogs that belonged to a local villager, and they'd gotten out and they loved to roam, and they were in particular in a herd, in a pack, if you will, because the German shepherd girly in this video scenario was in heat. So I'm just saying things might have gotten a little spicy. So it's not the worst news. They are friends. They are together. They were being led by a bossy corgi. They just were sort of out on the town, if you will. They weren't breaking free. They were not on a sort of escape mission. They did not it wasn't like Ocean's 11 of dogs. So I'm sorry to burst that little bubble. But again, the memes were so good. Like this one with the corgi leading the way and somebody showing how to, I think, is it Nene Leakes? I don't even know. But yeah, they say 7 dogs stolen from their owners have gone viral after escaping from an illegal transport truck and making their way home. They traveled around 17 kilometers together, led by a corgi across highways and fields, now safely back with their respective owners. Like, one would think, how would we know that? How would that person with that Twitter account, how would they know that whole storyline? Like, it's very specific. And it's in China. Like, that's a lot of information to have been brought to us. And it's like, we're grasping at straws here for some good news. It reminds me of when I was a kid. I mean, we all have these stories, but like when we ran away, right? My parents, I had a Snoopy suitcase. Like, I can still smell it. It's like red with like plastic, and it had like the piping around it that was blue, and a zipper and a plastic handle. And I packed my essentials, which was my favorite bathing suit, which was a Wonder Woman bathing suit, and my water wings, because it was summer, so I needed my water wings. And my book that I was reading, though, I would be lying if I told you which book it was. I do not remember, but I just remember it was a book, a coloring book. My markers, the ones that were in that box that made it look like that you were smiling with the big teeth, like, and it was red, orange, yellow, green, blue, all of that. So that was amazing. And I packed that and I stormed out of my house. And I said, I'm never seeing you again and whatever. But my parents said I wasn't allowed to cross the road. So I ran away, but I could only walk around the neighborhood before I could have to cross a road. So I would just go from my backyard to my neighbor's backyard to another neighbor's backyard to another neighbor's backyard back to my house. It was the great escape. But Adam Bain, our friend, he tweeted, boy, he's going to be disappointed. I don't know if he knows this. Have just optioned the rights to this movie, Netflix, let's talk. A lot of people were really invested. A corgi outperforming the American president in leadership is just so very 2026. I will say, I went to the No Kings protest this weekend. I went to the one in WeHo. And in WeHo, West Hollywood, you can imagine, it's eccentric. It's like, it's the girls and the gays. That's what we have. It's the girls and the gays with some really fun old ladies. But it's the girls and the gays. The signs were really something. I want to put some of them up here. But like, my friend was wearing a T-shirt that said, Deport Melania. I'm not going to show her, though, because I don't think she'd want to be seen. But Deport Melania was a good one. Then there's Ice Melts in the California Sun. That's a good one. And my favorite one, it turned out this guy knew who I was because we had a mutual friend, but his sign said, I've seen better cabinets at IKEA. Now, I will say, there were a lot of white people. In West Hollywood, there were a lot of white people, whatever. There were a lot of white people. It was diverse more than I thought it was going to be, but it was white. And some of the other protests were noticeably very white. This woman, this grandma, this lady, when asked about this, I am telling you, she shut this shit down. Take a look at what this woman said. I think she was in Chicago. I may be wrong. When asked why there were no black people at the No Kings protest.
Did y'all see what that white granny said about black people at the No Kings rally? Watch this.
Seems like there's a lack of diversity here today. That it's mostly people who look like you and I. And I just
It is not for black people, for people of color to get out on the street. They're at risk when they do that. If anybody's going to get arrested here, it's going to be a black person. It is not safe for them, and they don't need to participate. We need to walk in their name.
Gotcha. Okay. Wow. Okay.
I know that's right, Granny. She said, look here, Nate. Leave black folks alone. They do not need to be out here in these streets. She said, this is not their fight. They not the ones who put this orange motherfucker in office. It was white folks. So we need to be the ones to try to get his motherfucking ass out. She said the only thing that's going to happen if black folks come out is they're going to get their ass arrested. And we don't need that. So we going to keep on fighting the good fight because they done fought enough.
That's right. That is right. That to me was like, I just thought, good for her. I mean, and she's right. The fact is, like, we are so privileged. We can do, like, I can be like, nah. Now, obviously, we're not talking about, protesting in a way where it's violent. These were peaceful protests. This was a beautiful day. People are having fun. But you just know that right now there's such a discourse with what's happening. And there is a feeling that not everyone is safe from what's happening around. And I don't know. I mean, we had Pete Hegseth. I'm not going to get into politics, but let's just say he's like not promoting black people or women in the military. And you know where that's going. But did I just jump off onto a segue? Then I really just sort of want to close out with the greatest headline. Sad. I'm not mocking murder, but quadruple amputee cornhole champion arrested for fatally shooting someone. Now, I'm sorry. What? They're like, just first of all, they're cornhole champions. I didn't even know that. Then there's cornhole champions who are amputees, a quadruple amputee cornhole champion. I can't play cornhole and I've got 2 working arms and legs. So you're talking about a cornhole champion who has no arms and no legs. And there's a lot of footage on this person because he's been covered in the news a lot due to being the cornhole champion. And it's very reminiscent of Headless Body found in Topless Bar. But yeah, he there's also footage of him being like showing him being able to load and shoot a gun. And I guess he lost his arms as a baby due to sepsis. So he's like, that's what he knows. So he's able to use those arms in such a way. But man, again, Twitter for the win on this. The Michael Jordan meme, and it's him sitting in a chair. This is when everyone says you can't murder or play cornhole without arms and legs. And it's a picture of Michael Jordan sitting in a chair with just a torso in his head. And it says, and I took that personally. And somebody then retweeted that meme and said, you will pry this app from my cold, dead hands. Somebody tweeted, I don't think I'm exaggerating when I say this is the most insane sentence I have ever read. And that sentence is 27-year-old Dayton Weber, a professional quadruple amputee cornhole player, is accused of fatally shooting Bradrick Michael Wells, 27, during an argument, then fleeing the scene in a car with the body. That's one sentence. So, yeah, that's really it. A lot of people are talking about the United Airlines new couch, if you will. So in 2027, there are going to be some planes that allow you to book the whole row that you can turn into a couch, which is smart, like in coach. So you can take the whole row. We don't know how much it is, but it sounds like a great option if you're like an adult traveling with a kid. I mean, it's a great option. I will say this, but something I did not cover. Oh my God, we talked about Weezer, by the way, in the newsletter. Go check that out in the newsletter if you're interested. I think we should do a special pod around 90s rock and roll because I can talk about that in my own experiences. But Weezer, my goodness, their tour is kicking off and it's called The Gathering. And they kicked off on a rooftop in Venice Beach without telling anybody. It was all word of mouth. And all these people just were like, is that Weezer playing on a roof? It's fucking awesome. Go check out all the videos that are on the newsletter. But the Erica Kirk Drewski situation, I didn't put in the newsletter. I think it's funny as fuck. I do. Drewski is this comedian. He's this black comedian. And he dressed up like Erica Kirk with whiteface. Now, I am sorry, do not understand history if you think a black person painting their face white is the same as a white person painting their face black, because it is not that is not what we're talking about. There is the history of what it represents, of what blackface meant at a time when people did do that, what the symbolism of that was, that there were no black people painting white faces. It's not just the act of it. So before you get all worked up, Erica Kirk, understand history. Read a book. Read a history book. It will do you good, not the Bible. Bible isn't history. Bible ain't history. But Drewski, and then she is demanding, like, he's arrested, like the whole thing. So here's just a video of it. And I'd love your thoughts. I think it's very funny. I think he's very funny. I loved it. But if you guys, I don't mean like you're offended by it, but if you like, I just want to know your thoughts. So hit me up at brooke.hammerling@gmail.com and hit me up. I want to know.
Get on your feet, boy!
We have to protect all men in America, especially all white men in America. Those are the boys that we care about in this country. America is built on their backs. Yes, because they are the ones who mattered most.
So that's it. That's all I got. I have Live Nation to thank for this podcast. I have you to thank for watching this podcast. I have Ethan and Joe to thank for making this podcast with me. And I have Potato to thank for being the mascot of all things pop culture. And have an amazing Passover. Have an amazing Easter. And I'll see you guys next week.